Police in Edo State have arrested a woman, Chioma Success Adaniken, for allegedly staging her own kidnapping and collecting 5 million naira ransom from her husband. According to the police, Chioma's husband, Paul Adaniken, had reported to the new Etete division in Benin City that his wife and 3-year-old son were abducted on October 27. The supposed kidnappers demanded 5 million naira for their release. Detective launched a cyber and intelligence-led investigation that uncovered the elaborate hoax. Chioma's cousin, Osita Godfrey, who initially appeared to assist the family, was arrested after being found complicit in the scheme. His confession led to the arrest of Chioma and another accomplice, 23-year-old Martins Chidozie. Police recovered the full ransom amount during the operation. Edo State Police Commissioner CP Monday Agbonika commended the officers for their swift and tactical response, warning residents against acts that threaten public peace. All suspects are currently in custody at the State Criminal Investigation Department for further investigation and prosecution. Mr. Kola, we've dealt with, children kidnapping themselves and trying to get their parents to send ransom through to get their release. But this is a wife in a family unit where people are supposed to be partners. Let's get your thoughts on this report.
I haven't seen this this kind of report in a while. I think on the show we have talked about youths that self-kidnap themselves and and such. But seeing a wife, a mother, do that to the husband or to a family, it is quite new, and it just goes to show that the society is. I don't want to jinx it or say it's getting worse. But if a wife can do this, then it just goes to show that people do not really care much about themselves or their families nowadays. Because some might say maybe the husband was not taking care of her or something, and she needed his attention financially, which might have led to this. Investigations are still on. Hopefully we'll know why she did this. But then, like I always say on the show, this is not a good way to make money in any way, regardless if you're a youth or a kid. A daughter or son in a family, or even a wife. This is a crime. This is a crime in itself. So, it's been open now, and she's been captured. Hopefully, we get to hear what happens. But I hope, I'm not really sure how the sentencing works for cases like this. But I feel like at the end of the day, it might be settled out of court and all that, because it depends on what the husband says. And they're still a family, in as much as this is a new kind of betrayal that I've not seen in a while. That pressure, that fear, that trauma that the husband would have gone through, or being told that his wife and his kid has been kidnapped. I don't know if people do not take these things into consideration. I understand that in the part of this world, people don't really understand what trauma means. When situations like this happen, which is why I feel like some people find it easy to do these things. Some people do not take, speaking broadly now, so people do not take the idea of rape and assault seriously. Because some feel, it's just a physical thing, but we forget that the psychological impact, the trauma that comes with things like this, cannot be forgotten easily. Yeah.
Very elaborate analysis you did there. I want to draw your attention a little bit to the other part of this report that, you have said, you've talked about the trauma as regards this man knowing that his wife and his son his child was kidnapped, and realizing that this was inflicted on self. What then, when you look at this report, is the essence of marriage? Because many people go into marriages to say, okay, I'm here. When we talk about it from the religious sense, you find out that we say a man will leave his father and mother and cleave to his wife, and they shall become one flesh. If you're a Christian, of course, that is usually what the Bible says about it. I'm not sure what the Quran says about, the joining of two people. But then, both people have left their separate families and decided to be a unit. in this climate where we are very religious people, if you get married in the courts, there's usually this awareness that you need to put for a few, I think about 2 months or thereabout, or six weeks to 2 months, where you need to put your faces out there, which is some form of, you know, saying that, okay, we are trying to be joined together. In the churches, you have lots of, what's it called, counseling sections going on. We now have paid counseling. Do you think people critically understand the depth of what a marital partnership is for us to prevent such actions from coming up?
When you see things like this, obviously it means there are lots of people out there that do not really understand what it means to be married. You know, to be in marriages, to be partners, right? Like I was citing earlier. I mean, the case is still under investigation.
Right.
But the only plausible thing that could make a bit sense, not that I'm saying it's right, is if the woman is trying to say, or if the woman said that she probably was not treated fairly in the house financially, right? And she needed the husband's attention financially.
Is this the best approach to that sort of situation, right?
That's what I'm saying. That's the only thing that would say that makes me think someone in a sane sense, in as much as it's not a sane idea, might think of. I mean, illiteracy is a huge thing that you could be surprised what illiteracy can do to someone's thinking IQ, right? So except that, I don't see why someone, it's not accepted definitely, but I don't see why someone would do this, right? I mean, when you are in a partnership with someone, that is why you have to communicate, you have to work together, you have to, I mean, if you love yourselves, if you communicate, if you guys are one, like it's supposed to be, I don't think you would do such a thing. Right? Even if you were in need of money, or you feel like your partner is not giving you the right amount of attention financially, you should bring up these things for discussions, you know, between yourselves rather. Oh, you don't give me enough money to take care of myself and the kids and all that, and hopefully things get fixed. If not, then if you're married in the church or whatnot, you could take it up, you know, with much more people you can speak to, maybe your pastor or family members, depending on the dynamics of how your family is. That is, you know,
Right.
aside that, it just goes to show that marriages are not just, permit me to say, transactional, or just because people want to fulfill all righteousness in terms of saying, oh, I'm married or I'm not married. You get.
Right.
But the real concept of marriage, which is working together, being together, you know, helping yourself become better persons. I think in this age and era, we are beginning to lose all of that. I mean, decades ago, I don't think we had stories like this. You know, kids kidnapping themselves, wife kidnapping themselves, right? Then kidnap was something that was a serious crime, because I mean, it's that's where the whole idea of kidnappers came into play, right? But now we have self-kidnap, which is a thing, especially in this part of the world nowadays.